I found this figure absolutely staggering. Americans spend more than $40 billion a year bird watching. And Texas is a great place because of the migration routes. And we have an amazing place to bird watch just south of San Antonio in the Mitchell Lake Audubon Center. And that's what we're doing in this week's Texas Outdoors.
We've documented over 218 species of bird just on the property. So it's an amazing place for biodiversity.
It's also a place to find peace and quiet and calmness. Unless, of course, you're a duck, which is mainly what we saw on this outing to the Mitchell Lake Audubon Center.
We're approximately 1,200 acres of upland habitat and wetland habitat.
That habitat attracts more than 200 different species of birds, along with other animals, including the two-legged kind.
Now, you look and see if he has yellow feet.
Georgina Swartz is a regular at Mitchell. She's been birding for more than 45 years.
I might have done 300 one year when I tried really hard.
Even with 45 years, her experience pales in comparison to some of her fellow birders.
I've been as far west as Hawaii, as far east as Italy, and as far south, as far north as Iceland, far south as Costa Rica.
Bill Zwarchus has seen more than 1,000 species of birds around the world. He says it just brings him closer to nature.
It's a gateway to nature. I mean, because in order to be a good birder, you have to know about the trees, the vegetation, you have to know the weather, you have to know insects, because you have to know what they're feeding on.
This day they were feeding on whatever was in the water. A sudden drop in the temperature and a cold north wind chased most birds migrating south.
More shovelers, couple of blue-winged teal females.
While it chased out some, the weather brought in a ton of ducks.
So I see the canvasback out there.
We also saw a few American white pelicans. Mitchell Lake is a birdwatcher's paradise. Along with the water, there's plenty of brush and trees, and it sits in the middle of a birding superhighway.
We have 3 different ecological regions that run through the county. We have the Edwards Plateau out in the west side of the county. We have the Blackland Prairie running right down the I-35 corridor. And then here in South Bexar County, we start transitioning into the thorn scrub.
Martinez says when one birder sees something extraordinary, word goes out and fellow watchers flock to Mitchell for whatever rare bird flies in.
And that's a sport in itself. I mean, people will travel across Texas. They see it like we were talking about earlier. Something popped up in West Texas. Oh, let's go. Day off, drive or fly, just to see the bird, check it off their list.
If bird watching is a sport, that may very well make Mitchell Lake AT&T Stadium. Now, we want to thank Gil Martinez for showing us around. Thank you for the suggestion. Mitchell Lake is open Tuesday through Sunday. We're going to put a link to their website in this story on KENS5.com. We've been getting some great recommendations for things to do, so keep them coming. Email me, bdavis@KENS5.com, or you can hit me up on the KENS5 Facebook page and go on an adventure with us into the great Texas outdoors. It's amazing. I had no idea. 41 something billion dollars a year for bird watch.
Yeah.
It makes sense, though, that Texas is a breeding ground for all these birds.
Right.
If you think about it, they're all passing through. Just in my backyard, I see a ton of birds every day. It's always impressive.
I said that to Gil Martinez. He said, and that's when he went into that bite where he said, well, we have 3 ecological regions that come together right here, and it just funnels everything right through the area, which is why you see so many.
Makes sense. Absolutely.
It's a good movie about birds called The Big Year. It's really, really good. It's got Steve Martin in it, and they have so many locations in Texas. I was like, we get a lot of birds here.
No,
We
I haven't
talked
seen
about
that.
the
I'll
big
see
year,
it.
too.
Yep.
It's an actual competition
It's a real thing.
they have where everybody checks off how many birds they find
I think
in a year.
they've got to go by the honor
Interesting.
system at the end of the day. So hopefully, not checking a few that they didn't actually see. Let's get a live look outside.